Hi, welcome back. In our last video, we were able to go through the environment of Axure RP. For today, we're going to concentrate on libraries. To be specific, we're going to look at the sample UI patterns that Axure RP already provide to help you jumpstart your project. And I'll try to, as much as possible, to relate some of these to real life website or applications where you can find some of these things. So let's start. There are two parts here, sample UI patterns and then sample form patterns. Let's start with this one. There are not that many, but may be much more useful. Let's first start with this container usage. So let's say your project, you need to add in tabs. This is a quick jump start. You can just copy, change the titles, add one more, and then you are there. So and here we have Slideshow. A typical example of this could be found in here. Let's just check here. Laria website, for example. If you come to the home page, you realize that they have this, and that's a typical example of the slideshow here. It can also be used in a different way, but you can use this one easily for that. And here you have carousel with multiple items on the same, and that could also be, if you are Netflix fan, you'll see they have that kind of thing that you can always scroll through like that. So that's a typical example of that one. And then let's preview this, how they look. So just so that you get the understanding clear. Here, so I can you notice that when I select tab 1, this changes. So it's not the same. So it changes. It's changing once you click tab 3. Slideshow. It could be this, or you could also make it more of depending on, okay, we will go back and then we'll change some stuff there and let's see what happens. And then here also you click and then it goes like that. So this is a typical example of the Netflix case that I mentioned. Let's say that with this one, you can, okay, let's start with the first one. So if you notice that, okay, you need 3 or 4 instead of 3, then we need to add one more. So maybe I'll just click on this and then copy paste one more. And then to ensure that they have the same, you can actually select each of them like that with the shift, select them, and then here you can then of course horizontally make sure that the spaces are equal. And then I can just take this one to tab 4. So naming your widgets is essential. Here, let me also name here, label is 4. That's it. And then notice that each of these have a, so we have to also make this one 4 of them. So I'll just copy, let's say the same text here, or maybe the entire one. And once I click on it, I'll just move through 2, 3, and 4. Did I already? I haven't added 4. So this is from here. You can then select the outline 1, 2, 3. I need to add 4th one, or make a copy of this one. So that's the 4th one. And if I select that one, I'll change this one test here to 4. So now I've added one here and I've added one more to this dynamic panel side. What is important now is for me to add change this interaction. So from here, this already should have something, and all I need to do is to make sure that, okay, so now I'll just double click to open it like that. and say that if this is okay, so set this one, it should be the name. So I'm wondering why, but anyway. And then here we are setting the instead of the 3, I'll set it to 4. And let's check again. So the name is there. Okay. The rest should have, okay, it's using the same name as this. So now we've set this one that if you click on, or when this is selected or click, it should be set to selected, and then the area, this area should also be set to 4th. That should be it. If we preview this now, so when I click, it changes to 4. This says 3. That's it. So, and if you just need to delete, you just delete something out of it, and that should be it. Let's go back to the rest. So let me just select and delete everything. Let me also mention here that once you want to start a project, the first thing to do is to ensure that which are you designing for, desktop, large or medium. For this, let's just always keep it this way. And then the next one, I think tabs, we already did this one. It's like that. This is already what we just went through, so there's no need to check. This we also checked through the first one, so it's no need for, and then the carousel as well. Now let's come here, pagination. So if it happens that you are doing this and you need some pagination somewhere, it's quite handy. You just drag and drop to your project, and then maybe there's no interaction, but at least just to mimic, that should be enough. And then let's check what else. There seems to be some interaction, but you can check later on to see what might be the, okay, it's almost like gone, so it's deleted. But that is a good example. And then navigation bar, for example, here let's take a typical example of this one. So you're doing a website or an application that you need a bar to have a search or username and this kind of drop downs. A typical example, let's take Alto University website, for example. So you see here they have language, they have this that drops down, they have this that drops down. So that's a typical example of this one. So you just copy, drag and drop there, increase this one, rearrange the content on it, and that's it. And then maybe push this one to the line, and that's it. So basically you have the element here to use them easily. Let's go ahead with a different one. And then we have steps. So where in a case where you're doing application that the user flow is from one step to the other, in most let's say events applications, you will see that they have this kind of steps that first you put the names of the event, second step maybe you design the form, third step you publish or something. So this is a typical example. If you happen to have that kind of thing in your project, you just drag and drop that one and then edit it. And here you can see if I click, it goes like that. So this is a typical example of that. And then we have, let's see what else we have. Cards. So this will be good if you are doing something like e-commerce site that you need those ones. A tooltip, we will look at that one. And then we have pop-up. Pop-up, for example, and then what else was here? Okay, if you need to put some chart there, if you need to also add some tables, this is really handy in case you have. And then this one. So let's quickly check, preview all these at a time and see what we can get from there. Two tips. So you need to do something like when user mounts over, then something shows. So this is a good way. You just drag and drop that one and then you're good to go. And here, this is more of, as I said, you need a product image, product name, some description, maybe add to cart, so something like that. And it could be price and add to cart or something. So This is a typical example of that. Pop-up. Okay, let's go back, and then I'll just, not sure why the whole thing is not showing. Okay. So let's see what might be if we go to here, state 1. Okay, so what I will do is that I'll bring this. Okay, I'll just do it this way, that I'll just drag this one a little bit. No, that's not how I want it. I realized, okay, state 1 is this, so I need to make the dynamic panel a little bit bigger, or that I can drag this one a little bit here, put this X here, move this inside there. Okay, maybe a little bit here. Good. And let's see when you normally want to see this one. Let me, for example, take this one out. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to hide or combine the whole of this and say that maybe let's right click and set it to hidden. Oh, did I just, okay, now everything is hidden. And what I'm going to do now is that unclick on this. There's already some interactions, but let's not end. So unclick, show or hide. Now this is the one I want. Okay, what's the name for this one? So this is also one reason to pop up and launcher. So what's the name? So in this case, I'm here and I'm saying that unclick, let's delete this one, unclick. So show or hide. In this case, I'm looking for that name. It could also search it here, pop up. So this one, we want to show this one. In this case, I want to show it in, if you click more, I want to show this as treat this as a light box. And I can do this and say that, okay, I want this to be 50% or 60, that should be fine. And bring this to front and then click OK. So with this, if I preview this one here, now you see that's hidden. When I click, then it comes like as this. So you can use it anyhow you want as a light box. So, and here you can, I think there's the table is already sorted out. It's been done nicely. So you can easily put this one or delete the columns you don't need, and then change the titles, put whatever you want there, and that should give you like kind of ahead immediately. Now let's check the other one quickly before we bring this to an end. We'll just delete again these content that we place here, and let's see what we have here. So we have, this has been also been grouped, so we have buttons like these, save, then we have inputs, so test area, for example, like that. Date pickers, these are really handy if you need to set questions or anything. You have things like this. I like this as well. So where you have some, you need to invite people with their name and email, this might be handy. If we check this one, for example, let's see if we have accordion here. So you can also search. So yes, we have accordion here. So with this, we can preview and check some of these. Let me just delete most of these things that we've previewed before. So this was one of them. You can click and start adding the name and email. Click. So if you need something like this in your prototype, you just drag and drop. Date picker, you just click and you can continue with the months and years, and label, click, and then it's here. It supports only 200 characters, for example. So if you start typing, then it might be like, okay, now it starts to show red. Now you know you're out of, then it's coming. Okay, good. And here you can put the question and then put options here, for example. This is like a form, details, and then here we have this accordion where you can click and open content. So a typical example will be found here as well. If we click here, this is an accordion, this is an accordion. So this is a typical example of that. Yeah, and basically everything here. So there's more to it. Let me just close the search here. So there's a lot of these things that you can use to actually jumpstart your project easily without having to waste much time creating them from scratch. Before, all these used to be like something you have to do on your own, and now Axure have produced this quickly, or like as a default part of the application, which is easy to use. Okay, so this is also could be used as a selection option. Really good. So there's a lot more here that you can use, and I hope this was helpful. Once you start your project, make good use of this. In the next video, we will look at the other aspect of the library, how to download more library icons and other stuff, and how to even create your own icons. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.